Hey Miss, it's Mouse and welcome back to another house building video in The Sims 4. Now today I wanted to do something a little bit bigger. Well, I say a little bit bigger, but honestly you could probably fit one of the houses that I do in some of these rooms, which is kind of crazy honestly. But yeah, so I was on Pinterest looking for ideas and I came across this really beautiful plan, and it was actually a proper blueprint. And initially I thought, hey, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna make it look exactly like the picture, because you know, I love being able to replicate things properly, but it was just so hard. And eventually I ended up just having to give up, and we came up with the design that I have here, which is completely original. I've just borrowed a few ideas, I guess, such as that area off to the right there, where it's kind of got this little area that comes across the roof. But again, that's not entirely like the original. There should be a garage under there as well, and I think it was a lot longer. But yeah, there's a couple of things that I liked about it. There's a really nice gazebo area in the original plan that was actually out the front, and we end up putting a gazebo out the back just to sort of preserve that original element, I guess. And I was also kind of tempted to leave it where it is now, not with that little bit that's jutting off the side, but I kind of like the shape of it. Like just the half of it. I think it would work really nicely as a very small family home at that shape. So I don't know, I might actually do not a renovation obviously, but I might make something like this again but smaller, if you guys are interested in seeing that. This definitely is not one of the kinds of builds I am familiar with doing. It was definitely a challenge to actually get things to sort of fit in where they were supposed to. I feel like it's almost a bit of a cop-out on my behalf actually sometimes when I do modern builds, because I can be a little bit more, I don't know, like I don't have to worry about it looking authentic. It's like, well, if I want to have something sticking out at an angle like that, fine. If I want to have that completely elevated and then just propped up by some beams, that's legit, that can happen. Whereas this, I really had to think, okay, so how is this going to be structurally sound? How does this all fit together? What is the flow of the building? And I think we got something that looks okay. It definitely went through a few iterations, and oh my gosh, this took me so long. It was another case of, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to do a short build. It's going to be a big one, but it's not going to take me forever. And then 4 hours later, oh my goodness. When am I ever going to learn, guys? When am I going to learn? If you're going to do a build, it is definitely going to be a process, but a fun process. Yeah, so I ended up sticking in this area at the front too, which meant that I had to sort of bring the whole house out a little bit. But again, I kind of like how this all works, especially when we end up putting the veranda out the front as well. That was one of the things that I really love about this style of house. There's lots of outdoor areas that are also almost like indoor areas because they're mostly covered up. And I really like this, was it a frieze? Yes, the frieze from the Vampires pack. It's really cool. I'm pretty sure we keep it. We may not. I know I was having a little bit of an issue trying to get it to do what I wanted to do, just with the rooms, recognizing that they were actually rooms. But yeah, I love the way it looks there out the front. In fact, I think we keep it. I hope we keep it. But yeah, so at this point, just working out where the outdoor areas are, and here we go, just sticking in where the gazebo is going to be. And I think I probably made this a little large, but at this point I was still sort of referring to the house plans, and this is the scale that it gave me, so I don't know. It may be off, or maybe it's just a case of things not really translating to sim scale very well. Oh, and this is, yeah, the roof. Oh my gosh, we really need some round roofs, because that just was not working. I tried. You can see, I tried. But yeah, it was a bit of not what we wanted. And here I was just trying to get a pattern that I thought looked pretty nice, because obviously you want that to actually look interesting. Even though it does end up getting covered in, I can't remember what kind of plant, but it's meant to sort of resemble ivy. But yeah, that does end up getting covered in some plants and things to sort of soften it a little bit as well, because at the moment it's very stark and kind of angular, I guess. Another thing that I saw when I was doing my little Pinterest browse was that a couple of the houses were this beautiful navy blue. It's like, wow, that makes it look kind of magical, almost like maybe witches or something live there. And I just fell in love with that. It's like, yes, I need to do this. Yeah, so I also had a little bit of trouble trying to get the windows and everything to sort of work together. The base game windows, these ones that I'm using, I rarely ever use them, but I finally got to use them for the majority of the build. It was really cool. They actually fit perfectly for once. Like, I guess this is just a side effect of me usually doing modern builds. Whenever I do something more traditional, it's like I have a whole new game in some ways. Like, I can use this item? You're kidding me? This is amazing. Free stuff, new things, woo! I love it. Yeah, so I was sort of contemplating using the ones with the shutters as well at one point, but then I was like, nah, I like that these have the white trim, and due to it having that really nice white trim, it meant that I could add in these other more modern kind of white windows as well, just for that area up the top. I did have a little bit of a like stressful time, I guess you can say, trying to get this turrety bit to actually do what I wanted it to do, but we got there in the end. Yeah, I don't know, it could be better, but again, it's a case of we don't have the right kind of roof to do what I wanted to do, so I just had to make do. And this is definitely not entirely traditional on the inside, so I felt like I could take some liberties here and there, sort of modernizing it ever so slightly. Nothing too crazy, just a little bit. But yeah, so the layout is still pretty traditional. It's just, it's done up kind of modern in some cases. You'll see when we get there. I don't think it'll take me too long to get inside, and as soon as we say that, we get inside. Excellent. Excellent. Alright, so playing around with the layout of the doors. Oh, and we end up putting in a void area here. Yes, so that ends up looking really neat. I really like how this looks. It makes the whole house feel a little bit more grand. Like, you walk in and then there's this proper foyer with a double staircase, and then there's these arches that lead to different parts of the house, and it's all fancy looking, and yeah, I just really like it. Really like it. Yeah, what else do we end up doing down here? I can't remember. Oh, I end up changing the layout on the left-hand side downstairs ever so slightly, just so that it was a little bit more open plan. That's one of those areas where I was like, well, you know, it's a more modern world. I wanted to be able to stick modern things in, like TVs and stereo systems and stuff. So obviously, you know, there were going to be some things that needed to be changed. And up here, I think we end up putting in 4 bedrooms. This is definitely the master area over on the right. They end up having their own ensuite as well, because I love putting ensuites in. I think they're a really nice addition, especially if you're playing this with a large amount of Sims. Like, if you've got a big Sim family, the more bathrooms, the better. You do not want people freaking out because they can't get to the toilet. Like, you don't want to do that to them. It's bad times, very bad times. But yeah, so what are we doing? Just, yeah, putting in more windows and changing up the layout of the doors and stuff. Oh, I end up sticking a door out from the kitchen onto that patio too. So still working on the layout down here. At the moment, it's a little too open plan. So we do end up closing in the kitchen eventually. I think we're doing that now. Yep, there we go. So kitchen is now closed in, and we end up putting in a sort of formal dining area. And yeah, so you can tell I was sort of flicking all over the show with building this. I think I was in a Skype call. No, I wasn't in a call. Or was I? Yes, I was in a Skype call, and we kept going to video chat. And obviously I couldn't do my recording and building while we were doing that, so it just meant that I was a little all over the show. Right, so with the doors in the house, I ended up going for the black ones because I kind of thought that that contrasted pretty nicely with everything else that we had going on. And obviously we have the black trim on a lot of the windows, so that also helped sort of tie that together pretty nicely. And initially I really wanted to use this paneling, and I threw it everywhere, and as soon as I had it everywhere I was like, well, you know what, less is more sometimes. It just looked bad. So we end up using this vampire's wall texture wallpaper, that's the word. It's wallpaper that has this sort of shimmery effect in certain in certain lighting, and I thought that looked really cool. I don't know, I just love when the light actually reflects on things in The Sims 4. I think it's really neat that they actually have that as an option now. So yeah, just sticking in some more traditional light fixtures. I didn't want to go overly modern with anything like that, obviously. I felt like that would just feel very, very out of place. So yeah, more modern things, except for that main chandelier. I thought that looked pretty neat, just as that spiral one. It's still one of my favorite lights. And yeah, just sticking in the flooring. So we've gone for very dark colors in this. I sort of was kind of going off like a vampires kind of theme, but also not too much. I wanted to use a lot of things from that pack though, because, you know, they're really fancy and cool looking, and it just fit really well with this theme. Now that kitchen is huge. I would love to be able to have that kitchen. You've got that huge island bench. Would be perfect for rolling out pasta or doing a lot of baking. You could have lots and lots of cookie sheets and things lined up there ready to go in the oven. In fact, in retrospect, I probably would have liked to stick 2 ovens in here. I think that would have looked really cool. In fact, I think the original plan actually had 2 ovens in it. There you go. But yeah, so I liked that it was sort of black and white and very clean looking, because obviously a lot of this house is going to be a lot more of the darker side of things, so wherever I could bring a little bit of light into the house, I definitely wanted to do that. And with the dining area, I really had trouble with it. I think I end up why am I having trouble with this word today? Oh my god! Alright, I lightened this room up a fair bit, actually. As soon as I was saying, oh yeah, we stuck a lot of dark colors in this house, like, well, actually no, this room I struggled heaps to get a nice match with the rug. So we end up sticking in that texture, but we still integrated a lot of dark colors in, which you'll see eventually. We end up using a bit of purple in here too, which was nice. And again, we will eventually get there. We will eventually get there. Yeah, oh, and choosing a table? How can that be so hard? It's hard. Trust me, it's hard. There we go, we finally got the purples. They're not matching purples, but, you know, I also didn't think that it was totally necessary to match the tables, sorry, the upholstery on the chairs to the wallpaper. I thought that might be going a little bit far. But yeah, we have a little bit of a nod to purple there with the glass on that vase, the wall obviously, the chairs, and anywhere else where I could sort of throw in a little bit there just to you know, just a pop of color, not too much. And this wallpaper is also reflective and shimmery and fancy, as you can probably tell. It's just really nice. I love it. Alright, so where else do we end up working? Oh, yep, so we had to stick in one of those drink carts. A nice gold fancy one. And speaking of gold and fancy, we end up sticking in this fancy gold table in the foyer. So you walk in and it's like, oh, these people have taste. They have fancy gold things. That is not what I would think if I walked in and I saw like a fancy gold table. I'd be like, whoa, okay, how much did that cost them? That's cool, but like the first thing you see when you walk in is, we've got money. Although I guess if you're visiting someone who has a house like this, it's like an unspoken thing. These people are doing well for themselves. I don't know. Alright, so here I'm just working on more of a family room kind of area. There's not necessarily a formal sitting area in this house. Initially I really wanted to do that, but I don't know, I just felt like it would be nice to sort of have an open plan kind of family area with a bit of a library space and then that nice piano. I don't know, I feel like it is a little bit more intimate than just a formal sitting room. Or actually, no, oh, we do end up sticking in a sitting room. It actually is directly off the foyer when you keep walking in. So yes, we end up sticking in a little bit of a sitting room, but it's not like a full-on separate room. It's just, it flows on from the reception area, I guess. But we will eventually get there. Eventually. Yeah, so just chucking in a lot of details here. What else do we end up sticking in? Do we end up sticking in a computer desk in there? I cannot remember. Ah, yes, here is the sitting area. Again, it is very, very basic. It's nothing much. It's just a rug and some couches and things. Well, not one singular couch and some armchairs. Very, very simple. So what else do we end up sticking in this house? It's been a couple of days since I even looked at it, honestly. I had planned to do the voiceover as soon as I'd actually finished furnishing it, but that happened at around 8 in the morning, and I just pulled an all-nighter after working the day before, and I was just completely wrecked, honestly. So I ended up going to sleep like a normal person, like a responsible person. In theory, I did the right thing. I looked after my body. What I failed to account for was that if I slept, I would stay asleep. And if I was really tired, I would definitely stay asleep. So for the next, I don't know, 16 hours maybe, I kind of faded in between waking up and going, oh, I should really get up now, to sleeping. And then waking up and going, I'm kind of hungry and I'm sleeping. I'm terrible. I am like a cat sometimes. I swear. I try so hard to be responsible and look after myself. And then I make one stupid move. Like I'll pull an all-nighter and then I'm ruined for the rest of the week. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting old. But I'm not going to admit to getting old because I don't want to. But yeah, the moral of this story is don't be dumb. Don't be dumb. Get some sleep. I'm gonna be a hypocrite and I'm not gonna take my own advice. It's 2 in the morning currently and I still have a lot of things to do. But I'm going to have a sleep tomorrow. Like, I plan on getting this stuff done and then I will sleep. And I will not sleep for 16 hours. I guarantee you, I will not sleep for 16 hours. I have too much stuff to get done tomorrow as well. And here's the story of my life, overbooking. So much overbooking. Although the things that I have to get done tomorrow are not so great. I have to re-sign my lease, and I had actually planned at the end of this lease to move to Melbourne. That was the plan, and we were gonna get a place with NBN, and it was gonna be all good. And then certain things came to pass that meant that we can't currently afford to move, which is pretty sad. But yeah, that means that I will be in southeast Queensland for a little while longer. I can still visit Melbourne. I can still go down to Tassie and see my family. So it's not like I'm not going to see my friends or anything. And I can obviously travel very easily to Sydney here and see friends in Sydney. But I don't know. I'm just feeling a little bit sad that I'm still going to be stuck with bad internet for the foreseeable future. So yeah, this video will probably have taken upwards of 5 hours to upload. So hopefully those 5 hours were not wasted. Hopefully you enjoy this video. Know that it has been made for you with lots of love. Lots of love. But I guess we should get back to talking about what is actually happening in the video, because we haven't done that for a little while, have we? Right, so getting myself reacquainted. Oh yes, okay, so this bedroom here, I really wanted to sort of go really pink, because I don't do that very often, and I kind of love the color, honestly. As a kid I hated it. I thought that, you know, pink was a dumb color and only prissy people liked it. It's like, no, actually pink is a kind of cool color. Don't diss pink. But yeah, I kind of liked the idea that like this room is so vibrant and pretty and, you know, bright, and then you look at the rest of the house and it's so much more muted and dark and more formal looking, whereas this definitely is the bedroom of someone who has a very colorful, playful personality. So yeah, I really like that room. Now, I had to sort of change the layout there. I realized that that bedroom didn't even have a single window, and that would be awful. You couldn't have that as a bedroom. I don't even know what I would have used that room for if it didn't actually have a window in it. Maybe I would have changed that to the bathroom and then had the other room that has the window as a bedroom. But again, that would be a very small bedroom. Don't know. I'm glad I fixed it. But yeah, so this is definitely a little bit more light and bright compared to the rest of the house as well, but it's still very neutral, almost dark tones, kind of earthy tones there. And obviously we've used a lot of blue and stuff as well, and I love the way that those curtains actually layer over each other. It just adds in a little bit more color and textures, obviously. And yeah, in here, sort of playing around with color again, just making it a little bit more bright and funky, but not kind of like a playful kind of color, more like a oh, how would I describe it? So we've got those posters on the wall. It's kind of more like an artsy kind of feel, I guess. Oh, and with the what are they, the closets there, I noticed when I was renovating the Delicacy build that she'd done the closet space lined up like that, and I thought it was really cool, and I wanted to actually do that there as well. But instead of having all of the backpacks look exactly the same, I thought that was a little bit weird. I used move objects on and hid them, because why not? Why not? And again, a nice bright bathroom to sort of contrast the rest of the house. And we should be getting on to the outside. Here we go. Yay. Alright, so I don't think we end up putting in a barbecue or anything. I just felt like it didn't really fit as much as it would in a more modern home. But we end up sticking in a nice little sitting area out here on the gazebo that as soon as I started furnishing it, I realized just how massive this thing is. It is current. Oh god, My voice is kind of going weird. Just a second. Oh dear. Sorry about that. Yeah, as soon as I end up sticking in furniture, I realized this thing is cavernous. It is massive. So yeah, I had a bit of trouble sort of furnishing this, so I kind of copped out and stuck in a heap of plants. But again, it doesn't really matter because it's supposed to be a nice outdoor green space. So we got that. And speaking of green space, I ended up putting in a heap of vines and ivy and stuff, and as soon as the ivy went on the outside of it, I feel like the build actually came to life because it looked too new, really. It looked too new. It didn't look like it had been around for as long as I wanted it to feel like it'd been around, and by putting in the ivy that has different colors, it also gave the ivy a little bit more depth as well, rather than it all just being one flat color across. And it's very, very useful too that we have those less dense ivies from vampires as well, just so we can transition between things a little bit easier. Oh, and the dangly bits. The dangly bits, I think they're from Romantic Garden. Yes. So we have some dangly bits eventually as well, and that sort of brightens it up as well because there's such a vibrant green. It's so pretty. But you'll see that eventually. We end up sticking in those box gardens as well, just to sort of brighten up the windows as well. Here we go. The hanging bits. I love the hanging bits. They're so pretty. Definitely love those. Yeah, so the garden itself ends up being very, very lush as well. I'm kind of glad that it's not like The Sims 1 where if you didn't actually water the plants outside they would die. And I think that was a thing. It's been a very long time since I've played that game, but correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that unless you actually looked after the outside plants, they would die on you. Yeah. But can you imagine trying to like get your sim to water all of this? It would be so annoying. Like, I'm having a hard enough time in my Let's Play trying to get Skylar to water all of the things that she's got, and compared to this, she's got a tiny garden. Like, it is tiny. Yeah, so you'd have to have like 68 billion gardeners. I don't know, that's a bit hyperbolic, but you get what I'm saying. But yeah, anyway, I ended up getting those hedges or bushes or whatever they are and actually putting them over the pillars there and sort of making them go up a little bit. And I think that ends up looking really cool. It's almost like the plant is actually really wrapping around it. I don't know, I just thought it would be a good idea. And I've done something similar to that in the past and liked the effect, but I don't know, I just think on the gazebo in particular, it looks really, really cool and sort of helps make the whole thing look a little bit more lush and integrates it really nicely with the surrounding garden. And we'll eventually get to the terror paint things. I don't remember. There we go. So we end up sticking in the garden stuff, the garden paint, and when we end up finishing with this as well, we end up putting in a little bit of a campfire, and we end up putting in another tree as well. I wanted to make this make the outdoor kind of feel filled in, because at the moment it still feels very empty in my opinion. So I just wanted to make sure that that was all taken care of. And we end up sticking in this lovely front fence as well. There it is. There we go. And again, that sort of helps make the build feel a little bit more finished. And I realized at this point too that I hadn't actually put any lights in, so there we go. Oh, and there's the tree. I had forgotten about the tree until I saw it in the light section. I went, oh, hang on, that is actually a lamp. Oh, there you go. So we end up putting in kind of like a little picnic area underneath the tree with the lanterns, which looks really pretty. But again, we'll see that eventually. And I kind of love that out on the gazebo area it has those really bright colorful lights. It just makes the whole area look a little bit more playful. Yeah. Oh, and there's a cookie jar under the tree as well, because whoever is out there reading and chilling out obviously needs some snacks, and cookies are an amazing snack. Oh, I ended up sticking in the well too. I think that might be the first time I've actually used the well. You know what, I think we've had the well for ages and that's the first time I've used it. There you go. Oh, I ended up putting in the fountain as well. Yes, yes. So I ended up putting in a nice path out to the fountain. I'm pretty sure your Sims can sit on that one. There's so many things that when I am building like this, I actually get to use that I normally wouldn't touch. I mean, that fountain generally wouldn't work in a contemporary build. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think it normally would. So I just haven't used it, and now I get to, which is good. I like to use new things. Right, and yeah, just connecting up all of the areas with a little bit of terrain paint. That's the word I was looking for earlier. There you go. I'm finally starting to articulate correctly at the end of the video. I am doing really well, doing good. Alright, so we should be into the screenshots now. Fantastic. Hopefully you have enjoyed this video. I definitely had a lot of fun building it. But yeah, if you have any suggestions for other things that I should build in the future, please leave them down below. I love getting suggestions from you guys. And yeah, I hope you have a fantastic day.